morning, everyone. Good morning, Sarah.
So nice to see you, and congratulations on that good news.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you guys have had a very busy year, lots of important vehicle launches, including the Ioniq 6, which I haven't driven, but apparently I have to. So besides vehicle-specific efforts, you've also spent some time on brand building. Can you talk a little bit about the It's Your Journey brand mantra and marketing strategy that launched last year?
Happy to. As a marketer, many of you in this room know we have two jobs to do. One, build the brand, and two, drive demand. And we find that we spend a lot of our time driving demand, but we can't forget about brand. And as consumers are met with so many more choices today, and they demand a lot more, and it's really important that they connect with our brands in a human and emotional level. And it's something that myself and Angela are really invested in, and we spend a lot of time working on. And for us, it's important that you're really true to who you are as a brand. You have to be authentic. Consumers will see straight through it. And I don't know if you know a lot about Hyundai as a company. We don't speak about it a lot. And in fact, we just recently did some research, and whilst people don't think negatively about Hyundai, they just don't really know what to think. And that's a job that we need to do. And we took a look back and looked at our history, and what you may not also know about Hyundai is it was built to put the people of Korea back to work after the Korean War. So Hyundai as a brand has always been about people and putting people at the heart of everything we do. And that's very important to us. It's very important to us as a brand. It's why we produce phenomenal products, and all of you saw the awards that we won this morning. We're very, very excited, particularly to come off the back of Ioniq 5 winning those same awards last year. So we have phenomenal product, but customers want more than that. They want holistic experiences. And you'll remember during the global financial crisis, we put an assurance program out in the market. You know, if you lost your job, Hyundai would guarantee that we would take the car back for you. We did it again during COVID when there was a huge amount of uncertainty in the market. We do it every day with America's Best Warranty, with complimentary maintenance. And that's just the beginning of our promise to our owners and our customers beyond just our phenomenal product. So we took a step back and we thought, how can we really ensure that we're enriching our customers' lives? And this whole idea of kind of It's Your Journey was born. And creatively, it's really simple. The journey is or represents the moment in our customers' lives. Think about it, your first car, your first child, graduating from college, the kids have left home. And miles represents how Hyundai impacts that moment. And I'm going to show you an ad now that Lopez Negretti, which is our Hispanic agency, produced for us. And it really brings to life this notion of It's Your Journey.
When we talk about miles, we tend to think about distance. But what if instead of thinking about the miles that keep us apart, we think about the miles that bring us together? The miles we plan.
Mom, I'm almost home.
Get over here!
The ones we don't. The fun ones. And the funny ones. Miles to slow down. And miles that fly by. When it comes to the time we spend together, we're thinking of every mile. It's your journey. Hyundai.
Thank you.
That's a lovely spot. You guys are also continuing your partnership with Annie Leibovitz for the Journeys campaign. Can you tell us a little more about that? How do you choose the people you feature?
I love speaking about that campaign. Annie Leibovitz, I don't think anyone in this room wouldn't know who Annie was, and who wouldn't want to work with Annie herself. But for us, this was a really important partnership because it gave us a chance to really celebrate those people that connect with our brand, our owners, our dealers, our partners, and importantly, the people that work for Hyundai, who really build these cars to make a difference in people's lives. And who better to capture that than Annie herself and through her lens? How do we find these people? You know, that's a really interesting question, but we looked among our owner groups. We have owner panels. We looked through all our social channels, and we found some really unique people that are doing really fabulous things in their community. I'm going to show you a couple now. The first is Shirley Raines. I'm not sure if anyone in this room knows who Shirley Raines is, but she created a non-profit organization called Beauty to the Streets. And this non-profit organization came out of a personal tragedy. Her son, one of her children, was killed, and she found it very hard to get out of bed every morning. And she sought solace from actually going to Skid Row in LA and actually interacting with that community. And she brought her skill of beauty and hairdressing and therapy and started to provide that to the people in Skid Row and just gave them a little moment to feel a little bit better about themselves. The next one is Mike Brown. He is a local high school teacher and a basketball coach. And during COVID, he really recognized that his students were feeling very isolated and very alone. So he took his Hyundai Tucson on the road and traveled some 3,000 miles and created these history tutorials where he zoomed in with his students and really provided a personal connection during a time that many of our kids were really suffering isolation. Brent and Kyle Pease. Brent is a triathlete, and he runs all his marathons and triathletes with his brother Kyle. And they created the Kyle Pease Foundation to really bring a sense of belonging and connection to this group of people who otherwise didn't feel that. And again, people doing really phenomenal things. Taylor Hagler is a phenomenal woman. She's part of our Hyundai race team. And Taylor has won back-to-back championships of the IMSA Racing Challenge. She is the first woman to have ever done it, and she's just getting started. Unique is in the room today. Unique is the founder and CEO of Culture Brands, which is our African-American agency. These guys are doing phenomenal work for us. In fact, we're being honored today from MediaPost for the work that we've done with our OK Hyundai campaign. And Unique is a remarkable woman. Not only does she run an agency, but she gets up every day, and her philosophy is always about creating good work and doing better for the community. So we are very proud to be partners with Unique and her team. So that's Annie.
Great, thank you so much. We're going to keep this terrific show and tell going. Tell us a little bit about the sponsorship with Disney. Let's just watch a spot, and then you can talk a little bit about why it's special.
Sure.
There's magic in the journey. Your journey. Whether curiosity is your guide, or you're taking the turns as they come. Every one of us explores new worlds, discovers how far we can go, and finds our way across generations, or across town. Whether your trip is fueled by fantasy, or electricity. When it comes to making real-life magic, we're thinking of every mile. There's magic in the journey.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for the mouse. So tell us about the content you have planned. I understand it's got not just the advertising, but merchandising, social extensions. What else?
Sure. Well, that spot actually kicked off our 100th year celebration with Disney. It ran as part of the Academy Awards in March. It's a phenomenal partnership. We are the exclusive automotive partner for Disney's 100th year celebration. As a marketing team, you know, for us, it's about really creating key partnerships. And we talk about being bigger, fewer, best. And we don't have a lot of partners, but those partners we have, we go really deep with. And Disney is one of those partners. I mean, you just talked about it, Sarah, who doesn't love the mouse? But Disney creates this sense of magic and wonder. And I don't know a better brand that has a better emotional connection with their audience than Disney. Hyundai, they're all about people, we're all about people, but we're going to do some really interesting things with Disney this year. If you were up on the showroom floor earlier, you would have seen the Disney the Disney Ionic Platinum Edition concept, and that's a first of its kind. Our design team partnered with the Disney Imagineers for the first time ever. I'm told they're never going to do it again, let's see, to actually make this concept, and I'm excited to say that later this year we will actually have a Platinum Edition that will be on sale. We wanted to keep it really subtle, but really true to Disney. So if you haven't seen it, go and check it out. There's some hidden Mickeys that you can find, but it's really about really bringing this partnership to life.
Great, thanks. You guys also had a lot of fun with the Super Bowl this year. So this is another spot. I love this. This was the highlight of the game for me, by the way.
You know what, Sarah, I love you said that, because we didn't actually run it in the game.
Oh.
In fact, our brief to our agency was, and it was for the second year in a row, how do we win Super Bowl without actually being in Super Bowl? So let me play the spot, and then I'm going to tell you about the strategy.
There it is. My dad went EV.
It's electric. Don't be shocked.
The guy who's eternally locked out of his email is going EV. Ooh, nice car.
Actually, it's an EV. Rhymes with Kev.
Look, EVIP parking.
I get it. You think they don't charge fast enough or go far enough.
Up to 80% charge in 18 minutes. Range? Heck, we could go to Mexico.
Are you Kevin Bacon?
But EVs aren't going to stop being a thing. Look at the Ioniq 6.
Maca mushroom frap for Kevin.
So just make the leap already.
Okay, watch this. Blue or red? Blue light, red light. I can also make it play nature sounds if you want.
Let's just drive.
Introducing the all-electric Hyundai Ioniq 6 with up to 360-mile range. When it comes to EVs, we're thinking of every mile.
That's great. So tell us how you picked Kevin and his daughter, and also how you use TikTok to fool people like me to think that I saw it in the game when I clearly didn't.
Well, who doesn't like Kevin Bacon? But the great thing about Kevin and Sosie is they have that fabulous father-daughter relationship. And I think everyone in this room who's a parent can relate to the dad that's always trying to keep up with the kids. My husband's certainly like that, but doesn't do a very good job. And Kevin, even on The Tonight Show last week, he talked about the spot, and he talked about how he really loves to heckle his kids. And Sosie and Kevin, you know, have this great dynamic between the two of them. But the great thing about them was, you know, there's a lot of consumers out there that are really afraid to make that leap to electric. So what better way to show them how easy it is and how this new EV lifestyle couldn't be easier than to show a dad who's kind of who thinks he's cool, but he's really not, and show that he's made the leap before Sosie, his daughter. So that was the idea of the spot. But the other great thing about Kevin and Sosie is they have a huge social following. And the thing for us in EVs is the customers are younger. Hyundai traditionally has an older audience, but as we move into the electrified space, we're attracting a much younger audience. They're not watching TV. They're tuning in and watching by demand, but they're spending all of their time on their phones, looking at TikTok, looking at all their different social channels. And Sosie and Kevin have a huge social following. And if you follow Kevin or Sosie, you'll see that they're avid posters within their social channels. So not only did we create the spot, but we created a number of social vignettes to kind of break down the barriers of EV, but in a really humorous and fun and lighthearted way. So if you'll allow me, I'll show a couple of them.
I bet you can't guess how fast the Ioniq 6 can charge from 10% all the way up to 80%. Go ahead, guess.
Dad, I know you're excited, but can we not do the whole EV trivia thing right now, please?
It can charge from 10% all the way up to 80% in just 18 minutes. That's less time than my typical power now.
Did you remember to lock the doors?
Yes.
Is it charging?
Yes.
Did you remember to set the charger to off-peak hours? Oh, Did you check to make sure that the trunk was closed?
I know you can do this all from your phone with Hyundai Blue Link. Just stop torturing me.
Also, did you...
And one more.
Hey, Stills, toss me the keys.
Just texted him to you.
You just texted me the car keys?
Yeah, hold your phone up to the door.
Ooh. Whoa, guys. Stop working. Come on, you gotta get over here. You gotta see this.
I'll just get something from Crafty.
Oh, woo!
They're great. They're great. So I bet we can guess the answer to this, but would you do this sort of TikTok launch again? Are you happy with the way it worked out?
We couldn't be happier. We will. In fact, we're doing some more creative with Disney at the moment, and social and TikTok is a big part of that. But the results speak for themselves, and why you were fooled is because our whole strategy was to, firstly, we launched for the first ever time our spot in TikTok on the night just before the AFC Championships. We used influencers. Influencers are a very important part of our strategy. There's an influencer called Angry Reactions. I don't know if any of you follow him, but he gave his take on the Ionic spot on the day that it ran in the AFC Championships and drove additional engagement as part of it. And then obviously we aired in the AFC and NFC games. And what you may not know is those games garner almost the same amount of eyeballs as the big game. And we did all of this for a third of the price that it would have cost us if we actually aired a spot in Super Bowl. And not only that, we then got a head start on all of the competition. So we ran all of these vignettes from the AFC Championships right through in and around the big game. And as part of that, we warranted a place on YouTube Ad Blitz, which is where the highest Super Bowl ads are ranked. Last year we came #1, this year #1 again, and we increased the viewership by 63%. So to say we're happy is an understatement.
Outsmarting the Super Bowl, I love it. But let's stay with the TikTok theme for a minute and tell us a little about OK Hyundai, that effort.
Sure.
Winning an award for that today, I know.
We are winning an award for that. And as I said, Unique and her team are in the room, and they are the brainchilds behind OK Hyundai. But I think it's important to understand, the automotive industry is getting tougher and tougher and tougher. And the cultural tapestry within America and the multicultural community is where we can win the most gains in terms of car sales. These are a very, very important audience. And as a marketer, it's very important that we're inclusive, that we're representative, and that we're relatable in the way that we actually speak to these different groups. So we took it upon ourselves a couple of years ago to go out and ensure that we were working with the best partners. Lopez Negretti is our Hispanic agency, and Culture Brands, with the leadership of Unique, is our African American agency. And we're doing some phenomenal work. OK Hyundai is one of the examples of that work. We're just about to finish the 5th in the series of that campaign. We're super proud of that campaign. It really understands the cultural nuance of the African American community. I have a couple of spots I'm going to share with you today. The first is called Leading by Example, and it really celebrates the relationship between an uncle and his nephew. And this is a relationship that is really goes unrecognized within the community, and it's the importance of black men raising young black men and the importance of them leading by example and what that does to their future. The second is called Precious Cargo, and it really taps into the important dynamic between a father and his daughter. And it continually shows how the dad, no matter what, will always have his daughter's back. And in the spirit of journeys, or It's Your Journey, it also shows how the Palisade has dad's back. So I'm going to show those to you now.
Later, Blake. Later. Uncle Miles!
You ready to go?
Okay, Hyundai. Thanks for picking me up.
Of course, I wouldn't miss our guys' night.
Did you text my dad?
Yep, we're all set.
What percent are you?
Let's get some snacks while we charge. Yep, you got bumped. Here I go. Zoom past. I'm not raising you no more. You don't play fair. How you going?
Your journey at its most evolved in the fully electric Hyundai Ioniq 5.
And one more.
Trust me, I got the perfect ride.
Temperature okay, ladies?
Did he just? Yep, it has an intercom system. Nice. Jess, did you download the ticket?
Still no signal.
Oh, it has Wi-Fi. Just log on from your phone. Really? Thanks, Dad.
I got you, baby girl.
All y'all fit in there? Okay, Hyundai.
When it comes to your precious cargo, we're thinking of every mile. The new Hyundai Palisade. It's your journey.
Thanks, that was great. So that effort featured 11 different Black creators to inspire users to take new adventures with 2 of the flagship vehicles, and they also ran on TikTok. How do you choose your influencers? Are you happy with those results?
You know, that's a really good question. Influencers play a really important role within our entire marketing mix. As I said, as we look to really talk to a younger audience, a more affluent audience, I mean, everyone is on social media these days, and it doesn't make sense for our brand to tell you how to think. So we use influencers to help us to tell our brand stories, and these influencers, as you all know, have hugely engaged audiences, and they can do it in a way that's very authentic to who follow them, and that they can be really representative of who we want to be as a brand. So how do we pick our influencers? That's a really good question. You know, we look at their behavior, we look at their engagement, we look at how engaged they are with their audiences. And particularly for this campaign, it's ensuring that these influencers celebrate the best of the African American community. They're usually on the rise. They haven't quite peaked their sense of fame yet. And also, it has to be authentic. We have to be able to integrate our car message and our Hyundai story into what they're talking about, because, you know, this younger audience, they can tell if they're being sold to. And I think many of you would have seen last year that TikTok is now surpassing Google in terms of searches. I mean, this is where the younger generation is going to find out what to buy. I mean, I'm sure you've heard the campaign, TikTok made me do it, or TikTok made me buy it. It's true. It's true. So we are heavily invested in these platforms, and we use these influencers to help tell our stories in the most authentic way possible.
And I think we're about to go to questions, but if you could, before we do that, just really quickly tell us what's on the horizon for the rest of this year. What new activations should we be looking for?
Well, I can't tell you everything. But we, as I said, we have some key partners that we're working very closely with. We've got a lot of new exciting things to still come with Disney. Unique and her team are about to launch a new OK Hyundai Spot that we're going to launch as part of our new electrified platform. And yeah, lots more to come.
Great, thank you so much. And I think
Pleasure.
Now we have some questions, I believe.
Raise your hand, please, if you have a question. What are you going to do if they take TikTok away? I mean, that's seriously a problem, right?
Well, we use other social channels too. I don't think they'll take TikTok away. It's too powerful.
I just had somebody tell me they found their new car on TikTok, so it really is happening.
It really, and I didn't believe it. I talked to the younger generation. I'm like, are you really using TikTok to buy a car? They're like, yeah, we are. I'm like, okay.
Hi there. My name's Eric Lundquist from MarketCast. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
As you've made it clear, partnerships with brands like Disney, the NFL, big part of your strategy. How do you go about quantifying the ROI, which can be difficult, or even the return on brand to your internal stakeholders to let them know that this is an important part of our mix that we'll get something out of in the long term?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. A lot of our partners, we have measurement tools that judge the effectiveness of the relationships. But the NFL is a big one for us. You know, we've been heavily invested in Sunday Night Football for some time now. Obviously, we have ratings through the broadcast partnerships, but everything we do has a 360 campaign, and we're able to measure a lot of that in what we do. The Disney campaign, what we're doing this year with obviously the 100th year celebration, this is not the first. The first campaign we launched with Disney was in 2021 when we launched the all-new Tucson as part of our Question Everything campaign. And we saw huge lifts in engagement, we saw huge lifts in lower funnel actions, and we saw huge lifts in actually sales of the Tucson. And it now surpasses both Rogue and CRV in terms of search goals. So there's many tools. In fact, there's too many tools for us to measure the different partnerships. But let me tell you, our boss is very big on data and puts a lot of rigor behind everything we do. So that's one of the key things we do in evaluating these partnerships.
Have a question right here.
Actually, it's a similar question. Ishan Bhamak, GFK. So you mentioned...
Nice to meet you, Ishan.
Nice to meet you. You mentioned the influencers and its role. How are you measuring influencers in the creator economy and that impact? Is it just, you know, likes and followers, or is it going beyond that?
Well, likes and followers is one thing, but for me it's more about engagement and interaction. So for the Kevin Bacon campaign, you know, we did about 252.5 billion impressions, but close to 1 billion engagements. So for me, you can have a number of followers, but if people aren't engaging with you and having a conversation with you, that's really where the beauty lies. And you know, a key thing when we did the campaign with Disney with Marvel, and we used Loki, and you know, we had Loki kind of go from Endgame into the Loki series, and people were posting, you know, if Loki's driving a Hyundai, then I'm going to drive a Hyundai. Like, they were super excited. So for me, it's about engagement, it's about social posts and real interaction with the brand.
We have a question back here.
Good morning, Michelle Blakely, Affinitive.
Michelle.
Hi, you guys are doing amazing work at a brand level. How are you getting the dealers to continue the strategy to optimize for the consumers and, you know, not pushing the consumers away, because they're the franchise, right? That's how it's being delivered. So you're doing all this work at Tier 1. How are you getting the dealers to embrace it?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question, because the dealers are the face of the brand. We spend a lot of time working with our dealers. We actually have a marketing subcommittee, and we share all of our work with them. Traditionally, kind of Tier 2 and Tier 3 and Tier 1 kind of work separately. We now call it kind of the full funnel attack. And we ensure that our dealers understand what we're doing at the national level and how they can support us at both Tier 2 and Tier 3. So it's a real combined effort. As for the customer experience, it doesn't sit within our group, but we do work very closely with our CX team to ensure that they are delivering those holistic experiences that we know our customers now demand. And it's just keeping in contact with them and keeping them in the loop of what's coming up, so they're not feeling so disconnected to what we're doing at the national level.
Okay, Kate, thanks so much. I think that's all we have time for. I really appreciate it.
All right.